Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing. If you ever farted in class and tried to cover it up by coughing or moving your seat, but you weren't fooling anybody, then smash that subscribe button right now. First and foremost, let me give a shout out to the following patrons. Ooh, these are good. Shower Shark. So for those of you guys don't know, a shower shark in prison is somebody that be looking, right? Essence of a man. You got inmates taking a shower. And you got motherfuckers that just be looking, right? Meat gazing. So with that, Shower Shark, fuck your chest pains, Priya these nuts, Lockdown 5, Crystal Bond, La Reina, Raymond, Hernan, Michael Mua, Winston, Armando, Alejandro, Trailero 760, Grant, El Skid, Nathan, Hobie Cat, Lead with Love, Albert 12, AI Vega, Theo, Esquiel, Big Bad 48, apparently that's a gang, JT, Nova, Jack, Linda, the retired CEO, Michigan Wolverines, Mikey, the homie Marius, Chevelle 66, Abuelita's Journey, Gigi, and Daus Herrero. If you have not already signed up for that Patreon, or you want me to yell out your handle, make sure you hit the link in the description below. You are definitely missing out. This episode right here, I'm kidding you not, is damn near 10 months. 10 months overdue. Well, Hector, if it's 10 months overdue, why the hell did you take forever to fucking tell it? Well, the topic of today's episode is paranormal activities in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Now, Hector, why wouldn't you come out and saying those stories? Because, man, imagine if I would have came out here telling, like, weird stories. You're going to be looking at me like I'm weird, right? Like a weirdo. So, yes, I've been asked a lot by a lot of individuals on our channel to talk about the paranormal. This isn't something I normally indulge in. Like, I don't be watching sci-fi at the pad. Depending on what it is, right? Zombies movies, zombie apocalypse movies are always cool, right? Fantasize running through a fucking city with a cuerno de chivo, hunting and scavenging for food, ammo, and all of the above. I mean, I don't be owning one or anything, but that's what I would be doing in an apocalyptic situation. So anyhow, paranormal, true story. True factual story from your boy. This is the source. Centinela State Prison, 2006 is when I started my career. I did not touch down at the prison until 2007. I spent the new year at the academy. Brought in the new year in the academy. Okay? Youngsters, A5 was ad seg. I don't believe administrative segregation, the whole. I don't think it is anymore. I'm pretty sure they remodeled, redesigned, refurbished, whatever you call it. That's one. A5 at the time had the big ASU yards, the big ad seg yards, right? I want you to think Corcoran shoe ad seg. Not the shape, not the type, but you'll have inmates that are in the hole in one congregated area. I think congregated is the word. High school diploma. They're not set. Okay, this is before the dog kennels, before the individual dog kennels. All right. It's a little backstory. I did be getting the fact to work. ADSEG ASU gun, the observation post. So from up there, what it looks like up there, you have a big concrete yard to your left with it's like a square or like a rectangle with chain link fence, and then you have another one square to your right. It's like yard 1 or yard 2. And then you had diamond formations in the fence. Diamond cutouts, so you can put at the time 37 millimeter for the old school OGs in the 90s. My pops being one of them. As a matter of fact, I told you guys a story about my dad don't be liking me tell his stories, right? He don't even be talking about the prison, but I'm telling you guys anyways. At the time, I believe there was norteños down south. Shout out to the norteños. There's a guy that always gives me a hard time on here. I told you, just be keeping it neutral, right? Nothing but the facts, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So, at the time, there was a norteños. They were down south. They got into a good fisticuffs, right? They were mixing. Again, mixing. Some people could call it gladiator fights. Others can agree that it was administration from the top. Now you guys be knowing who be pushing it down. They were the big yards were mixed. ASU. The norteños were down there. Anyways, my pop so happened to shoot an inmate with the 37 millimeter. He worked at seg at the time. My pops worked the hole back in the day. It shot the inmate. Anyways, fast forward when I'm a kid, we're in Oakland in a fucking liquor store, and that inmate, that parolee, approached my dad and said, "Hey, no hard feelings," and shook his hand. My dad's like, "Hey, let's get out of here," right? But again, if everything was done on the up and up and everything was, then there should be no hard feelings. You know, that's kind of was just normal program at the time. One more food for thought and a fact. Up in that gun post in AdSeg, you had a water gun, like a fucking water cannon. Just imagine when there's riots on the streets, like in England and shit, since they don't have guns, they shoot the water cannon at a high rate of pressure. Well, you can hit like a button or flip like a knob, and it would add OC spray, oleoresin capsicum, pepper spray in the water, and it would spray. I never got to use that in action, but when you go up there, you do got to test the water cannon out with just water in the concrete, just like shh. That was cool. Again, I'm not an OG, but I did be catching that tail end. So, this whole fucking story, good, you guys got the backstory. This whole entire story is about paranormal activity. So, Hector, what the hell did A5 ASU yard have anything to do with it? Oh, it had everything to do with it, right? They began construction on the I'm not going to call them mini, on the dog kennels, the individual exercise modules. So you come out of the hole in the back door when you're escorting inmates to yard, right? There's a back door. Back there was a yard. If you go to the front door, is Alpha Yard. You have all the buildings, the chow hall, the gunner, the whole thing. Been on a couple riots in there and in the gym. Blacks and Mexicans. Racial riots. Well, I'm telling you guys. So anyhow, during the construction of, I think it was a dirt lot. Had to have been a dirt lot right behind A5 before they put the concrete slabs, before they put the individual dog kennels. You guys know what I'm talking about, the individual dog kennels. Watch the movie Shot Caller. Exactly like that. So I'll be damned if during the construction, so just so you guys know, whenever they're building something in prison, some CO always gets hooked up. Gets a great job. You just sit there in a fucking chair, and the construction workers start doing construction. You're getting paid, I don't know, $80 an hour just sitting there. Kind of a good gig. It's an extremely good gig. So that's what you had. You had a CO back there. You had the construction, the concrete slab being poured, and the chain link cages being put up. I cannot remember the year. If you guys can tap in the year. Let me see, 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Maybe 2010? Give or take? 2010 or 2011. Give or take. Let me see. Psalms came in like 2012. I don't know, man. This is a fucking between 2010 and 2013. Fuck it. 2012. This guy that was working back there starts telling people that this is what he's seen. He's sitting there and it's hot as fucking Centinela. 115, 120 in the summer. He starts seeing black footprints. Footprints. There's nobody there. And footprints start indenting into the concrete. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, fuck. I need some chanate down my throat. And a little sip of coffee. But, boom, boom, boom. And when he hit the fence, he said the fence started shaking. Right? This CO is by himself, sitting there. And he sees this. Motherfuckers just big ass fucking footprints. Boom, boom, boom. And he said by the time he got to the fence, it like viciously, violently shook. So word starts traveling around the prison. At this time, I specifically remember I was working TTA, the triage treatment area, the little hospital inside of the prison, the little clinic inside of the prison. My cool sergeant at the time, this big old white boy, he no longer works there. Dude was solid. Liked the guy a lot, man. Good person, good supervisor, good dude. He's like, hey, yeah, you want to go check it out? Because you people don't start believing this shit. He's like, go check it out. Go over there. Right, go to the back. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I went over there. And I look where it happened. Yes. Your boy, me, right here. I look down. There is fucking barefooted. Barefooted. This whole story doesn't make sense. Barefooted, like Bigfoot. But they were human feet. They were human feet. But I want you to imagine like Bigfoot's like footprints. If it was a size, maybe like a size fucking 14 foot, size 16 foot, it was big, but barefooted. And what it was is like a black stain. Hey, you remember when they dropped the atomic bomb on Japan? It had like the shadow of the people because of the nuclear thingy. That's what it was. It was like not so much an indentation into the ground, but more of like a shadow burnt into the concrete is what that was. And I'm looking like, holy shit. I'm seeing these fucking footprints. Kind of gives you chills, right? You're looking, you're like, a lot of things didn't make sense. One is that nobody in prison walks barefooted. Unless you're at Donovan, right? And sunbathing on the yard. But at Centinela's GP, nobody walks barefooted. Who would walk barefooted? Nobody. Inmates wouldn't walk barefooted. Staff sure the fuck wouldn't walk barefooted. Construction workers wouldn't walk barefooted. So it was like, man. That CO that saw it was shook. That dude was shook for like a while. He did not dig the fact that something paranormal happened in front of him. Right? He's just a regular dude and he sees this shit. People don't start believing him and start thinking it's crazy. Then they see it and it's like, holy fuck. Whatever he saw happened for sure. Because I saw the aftermath. Yeah, they sent ISU out there, the goon squad, the investigative service, and you go take pictures. I mean, it's kind of was. So the whole reason why I brought that up is because there's a white dude that works at Centinela. Shout out to him, former Army. I like this guy back in the day. And he's like La Pata Negra. So I guess that's what they called it. I didn't call it that. But with all these stories coming out lately and people asking for paranormal, and the dude just said like, hey, La Pata Negra, talk about it. I'm like, all right, cool, fuck it. So yeah, that's a true, factual, actual story. I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think. There's fucking almost 20,000 warriors on here following. Let me know how the hell could that possibly happen? Your theories. I don't know how that could happen. They're probably still there to this day. Another weird time in my career was working at the hospital. I had a couple gigs throughout my career. One of the fucking better ones was medical guard, hospital guard. Your boy dresses up. Actually, I stopped dressing up towards the end because I just didn't care. It was cool. You're supposed to dress nice and and go out to the hospital and sit there with your 38 revolver. Make sure your partner doesn't go downstairs and shoot his ex-wife type of stuff. Being in California, there's like earthquakes all the time. Being in the desert, the Imperial Valley, there's earthquakes all the time. It's like on a fault line or whatever you call that shit. I was in El Centro when the big earthquake in Easter happened. Matter of fact, I had called in sick that day at work. And it was fucking huge. It was like an 8-point something that hit like near Mexicali. Oh, it was fucking huge. Right? And I'm not afraid of earthquakes. But, it's kind of unsettling the thought of your house falling on top of you. Well, one day I'm working PMH with an inmate. The dude was like a level 4 type. Probably Charlie or something. He was in there for whatever he was in there. Like, they usually contract like cirrhosis of the liver, hepatitis C. So he was there posted. In fairly good health. That whole shift, second watch, could have been third watch. It's during the day. Earthquakes, 4-point earthquakes, tremblers, aftershocks. The whole fucking 8-hour shift was earthquakes. I'm not kidding you. It's the truth. Then I became unsettled and uneasy because it was just the whole day was rocking, right? It got so bad that Pioneers Memorial Hospital evacuated every single patient in that hospital. They coordinated with Palm Desert. These life flight, these medevacs, these helicopters were just touching down the helipad, picking people up and taking them off all day long. Right? And I'm just a CO, got a few years under my belt. And I'm right there with the inmate. So I'm like, man, this is a fucked up situation. So I call the watch commander and I kind of tell him, like, I might have to go back to the prison. Like, I don't know what's going on here. God ain't happy right now. So here we go. So the inmate gets scared. And when I notice he gets scared, I start putting a 10 on it and tell him I'm going to leave him in there. Just joking with the fella. Just pulling his leg, just jerking his chain. Hey, I'm going to leave you. Hey, man, if I got to bounce, I got to bounce, dude. Just because he's like, he's leg cuffed. He has leg restraints on his ankle to the hospital bed. So dude ain't going to get up and jump out and run away. Just messing with him. And you can see the fear in his eyes, right? Because it was, I'm telling you, eerie. But I'm in there sitting in the room with him, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to leave you, dude. Like, I have, putting a 10 on it. Like, hey, I have to, man. I have to go get help. Like, don't worry. I'll come back for you. The dude was a level 4, right? I've always been a jokester. But then it got real serious. And I'm like, hey, dude, I might have to fucking get out of here. Like, with him, right? With him. I got to evacuate this dude. So then I have a serious conversation with a guy. I'm like, hey, man, we might have to get out of here fast, right? I'm telling you, this whole hospital, the BMH is old as shit. We might have to get out of here fast, dude. Hey, don't fucking try anything. Right? Because the potential for escaping is always there. Motherfuckers outside of the wire, outside of any type of security. This dude was so scared and so serious. He's like, no, CO. Like, hey, serious. Like, serio. Like, I'll listen to you. Like, anything. Trust me, I just want to get out of here in one piece. He kept saying, take me back to the prison. Take me back to the prison. But by then, I had wanted to go back to the prison. Right? I was kind of riding this shit out. Serio, like, I'm not going to do nothing. Like, hey, just get me out of here. Please get me out of here. Right? I'm a motherfucker, like, I got into his head. But the earthquake was scary, too. But my partner was evacuating old ladies. It was a fiasco. It was a fucking fiasco. It was not necessarily paranormal, but it kind of is. Because at the end of it all, The hospital was empty. Ooh, you guys ever played the game Silent Hill or Resident Evil? The fucking hospital was empty, and it was like me, like my partner, and then the inmate. But I'm not concerned about the inmate. At this time, I'm looking at this eerie hallway. Hospital beds, gurneys, empty in the hallway. Felt like a zombie movie. Right? I remember feeling that. And I would have never brought it up had you guys not asked me for something like this. And I remember, damn, I don't think I took a picture, but I remember like, oh my goodness, when am I ever going to be in an empty hospital like this? Right? Everybody left. The nurses put all the good patients and then flew off to Palm Desert, San Diego, wherever they flew them. So anyways, man, we walk the inmate downstairs. We put him in the car. We take him back. We make the decision we're going to take him back to the prison. We pretty much told the watch commander this has become unsafe, unsecure. We were coming back. He's like, all right, cool. But the thought did cross my mind. Like, I actually did contemplate putting the inmate on my shoulder and running down the stairs if it would gonna collapse. And then I told my partner that. He started laughing at me and looked at me like I was an idiot. But it got kind of crazy, right? My partner wanted to leave the dude in there, but that's the story. The message for today is that took me 10 months to tell that story. Again, I just didn't want to come out here talking about those kind of stuff. You guys probably think I'm crazy. But either way, it's true stories. The message for today is learn how to read a room. So many people are so tone deaf, they don't know how to read a room. You know those people that you're in class and then they're like, you're fucking about to get out of class and everybody's like, the instructor's like, does anybody have any questions? And nobody raises their fucking hand because they want to go home. There's always that one sorry son of a bitch that, I got a question. Everybody looks at them like, you baboso, right? Learn how to read a room. It's going to help you out. With that, keep pushing forward.